What's up, guys? I'm Dhar.
And I'm Laura.
And welcome back to our YouTube channel. If you're brand new to this page, then please hit that subscribe button. Turn those notifications on. Today, we're back with one of our most requested videos.
Yeah, ever since we started YouTube, even before we started YouTube, you guys have always messaged us asking about our personal relationship, asking about our business, asking about our travel.
All the deets.
Yeah, you guys really want all the
I want to be all up in the business.
So we decided to give it to you guys. Today, we are going to be doing a Q&A. So we have collected some of your questions that you guys asked us. I have them here on my phone, and we will be reading them. Some of them are.
Oh my gosh, that is quite personal. You guys want all the details.
All right, you want to
Are we really going to answer that?
We'll see how it goes.
Okay, all right. Well, question number one is an easy one. How old are you guys?
Well, I'm 32. I'm going to be turning 33 in November. I'm a Scorpio. Hey.
Nice. And even though I look like I'm 54, I'm 34. And so, well, I'm turning 35 in a couple of weeks. So
May 29th
Gemini season.
You know what they say about those Geminis? Sheesh.
They're great in bed.
Oh my gosh. Okay, question number 2. Can we please know more about your backgrounds, nationality, where you were born, siblings? Dang, girl, we said one question. Okay, so I'll start since you started last time. So I am Mexican.
You started last time.
Oh, I'll start again. So I am Mexican. I was born in Michigan, raised in San Diego. Both my parents are Hispanic as well. And my mom was born in Michigan. My dad was born in Mexico. I have 4 siblings. I have a sister and 2 brothers. Huh?
No?
Don't interrupt me.
Wait, so you're Mexican and your parents are as well?
Did I say that? Okay,
wow, that's a shocker.
I don't know. You're making me nervous right now.
Go ahead.
Anyway, so I'm Mexican. And my parents had me when they were young. My mom got pregnant when she was 16. And because they had 4 kids all by the time they were 25, I feel like we kind of robbed them of their 20s and 30s. So now they're living their life. They are so crazy. Like, they could literally out-party Dhar and I. We have a really, really great relationship.
Yeah. So your parents were doing a lot more than just studying in high school.
Dhar! Oh my gosh.
All right,
gross.
so I'm
Stop.
Indian. Did I ever tell you that? I don't know if I ever told you that.
Are you kidding?
In LA, nobody ever guesses Indian because there's not a lot of Indians here. But basically, my parents came to America when they were like 25 years old or so. I was born here in Northern California. And
Oakland.
Definitely felt like a lot of pressure as like an Indian kid sort of growing up in America, but having like conservative parents that had all these expectations of me and wanted to have like a son that was like a doctor or a lawyer or a dentist. So me being in the makeup industry and being a YouTuber was definitely not on their list of what they hoped their son would become. But either way, like my parents are amazing. They're like some of the hardest working people that I know. Yeah. I've got a brother, which is a guy that I super look up to. He's turning 40 this year. He's got 3 of like the cutest kids in the world. And Laura and I are a mixed race couple, obviously. Yeah. So I don't know. How do you want to talk about that? How is that for you?
Sure. So I feel like
you always just dreamed of dating an Indian. Is that like when you grew up, you were just like, her fantasy was to date an Indian guy?
Yeah, always, guys. No, so I definitely think being a mixed race couple has its challenges. Yeah. We both come from different backgrounds. And Dhar's family is a little more on the conservative side, and my family is a little more spontaneous.
They're a lot more fun. We have a lot more fun hanging out with her parents most of the time.
How do you feel?
I feel like Laura could have literally been any race and I still would have fell in love with her. Aww. She's, to me, like, we don't really look at things as like black and white and brown and yellow and whatever else. It's more about the person. Mexican culture definitely seems like to be a lot more open-minded. So I don't know if it was as big of an issue in your culture, but in my culture, in Indian culture, there's definitely that you marry an Indian woman and she cooks Indian food for you, and like she's got to play this certain role. So I think it was a little bit harder for my family.
Hoochie mama clothes.
But after they got to spend some time with Laura, I think my family fell in love with her like just as much as I did. So yeah, pretty cool. All right, question number 3. How did you guys meet and what was your first impression? Laura thought I was a creep.
True story.
Yeah.
I'll let you start off since I started the last 2.
Did you? Okay. So basically how I saw Laura for the first time is I was running an online makeup school and I was working with different beauty influencers to teach classes. So one of the makeup artists I was working with happened to be teaching a bridal makeup class and asked Laura to be the model. So back then I was totally broke. I had like 0 money and I was running the business from my studio apartment. So in my studio was like my bed was here, my kitchen was here, my studio was here. Everything was right next to each other.
Studio, like no doors.
It was really tiny. And Laura arrived early for the class before the makeup artist. She had no idea she's walking into this guy's apartment. So it's just like Laura and I standing in like this studio apartment. Laura's got 0 makeup on, which I'm sure was uncomfortable. And she's wearing a wedding dress. So I'm sitting there for the first time meeting her with this big wedding dress on and I'm trying to be nice. Like, can I get you anything? Can I offer you anything?
And I'm like, no, absolutely not. So I had heard about Dhar before I actually met him, but
The
never...
legend precedes itself.
Oh my gosh. But
Luckily, she didn't judge me.
But I never knew that he was running these makeup classes. So when my friend asked me to be one of her models, I was like, yes, absolutely. And I had saw Dhar a few months previously at a makeup show, actually. It was him and another one of his guy friends. They were walking around and I didn't know who was in the industry, and I told my girlfriend that I went with, I was like, oh my gosh, look at those 2 guys. Like, what creeps? Why are they at a makeup convention? Like just looking around, like they're totally here to check out girls. So I thought he was a creep, and then
That's her type. She likes creeps. So that was a good thing.
Yeah, I walk in the day of the shoot, and I literally, like he said, I walk into the studio apartment. I see a bed and I see a camera, and I'm like, what the hell did I get myself into? And I'm wearing a wedding dress. I literally have no makeup on, and I'm like so shy.
Yeah.
And Dar's trying to be like super nice, and he's offering me like drinks and asking me if I want anything to eat, and I'm like so short with him. I'm like, no. And I'm just like sitting there, not looking at him, not like trying to conversate with him. I was literally so nervous, so shy, so scared. But yeah. And then...
Well, so the class finishes. It was a super successful class. And we all decided to go out to celebrate. And the only thing was Laura only brought her wedding dress. And I was wearing this light, long white button-up shirt. We actually talk about this in another video, which we'll link here. And so we all go out, and everywhere we went, people had literally thought we had just gotten married.
Yeah.
And so we tell everybody like, no, we just met each other like a couple hours ago, but like we had to explain ourselves all night, and people kept like handing us drinks and handing us shots. And after a while, we're just like, let's keep this party going. Fine, we just got married. So we like to joke that we got married the day that we actually met.
And we actually had our first argument the day that we met.
I know.
Well.
That should have been a sign. It should have.
Pretty funny. Okay. Question number 4. What was it like meeting each other's families?
I'll let you go first.
Okay, so I first met Dar's family. Oh, I first met your brother. We were in the city in San Francisco, and Dar invited his brother and his brother's wife out for dinner, and that they were so nice, so welcoming. Like, I immediately loved them. And then a couple months later was Dar's birthday, so I decided to invite his entire family, his aunts, his uncles, his parents, out to lunch. And so I booked a spot at a Mexican restaurant, hey, supporting my peeps. And everyone arrives, his aunts are there, his uncles, his cousins, everyone is there but his parents. And I got so sad, like, oh my gosh, they didn't show up, they hate me. And then they actually ended up showing up, and Dar, so we had never told anyone we were really dating.
Yeah.
And so they walk in and like Dar's greeting them and stuff, and my like palms are sweaty, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what do I do?
Her knees are weak.
I just got the courage to go up to them, and I actually went up to them myself and introduced myself. And I'm like, hi, I'm Laura. And they were nice, but they were like kind of quiet, like, who is this girl? So for sure, like while we were eating lunch, I was like, oh my gosh, they totally hate me, and I was just still so nervous. And then at the end of it, we were all gonna go to one of Dar's uncle's house to keep the celebration going, and Dar's mom's like, absolutely not, like I want you guys to come to my house, just you and Dar, let's have tea, let's talk. And I thought it was really sweet that she wanted to have us over, and you know, she made us tea, and we were literally just sitting there talking for hours, and I felt like I've known his mom for a long time. So that's how I met his parents.
Yeah, I think they sort of adapt. They accepted you a lot sooner than I ever thought. Yeah, we were like terrified of this happening. So we literally would talk about this, right, for months, like how is this ever gonna work? Like this is never gonna work out. And then, so how I met Laura's family, I actually met her mom and her sister first. And so it was at a makeup convention in San Francisco. And her sister was like super sweet, super bubbly, super accommodating, like conversating with me. At this point, our relationship was also like very new. I met her mom and sister way before she met my parents. So we didn't really know exactly like where we stood. And clearly like her mom just somehow knew that there was something there,
Moms
even though
know. I feel like your mom knew too.
Yeah,
like,
for
moms
sure.
Just know everything.
Yeah, even though we didn't even know and we didn't even say anything, we just felt like our moms knew.
They sure knew.
Yeah, her mom was being like a little bit standoffish towards me. And
my mom was being a lot standoffish.
And it was crazy is like knowing her mom now, who's like the nicest, most outgoing
like Dar's
person.
Supporter.
Yeah,
she
is like so friendly, and just thinking that was the same person is like, yeah, it's hard to even imagine.
I felt so bad because Dar was like so nice, and he was like trying to talk to her, and my mom was giving him these like short one-word answers. And
I understand though.
And I was like,
but that was her mom and sister. Her brothers and her dad was definitely a lot more intimidating. I met the rest of her family, pretty much all of her family, at her sister's wedding.
That was the first
and
time.
The hard part was Laura was the maid of honor, and so she was just busy doing wedding stuff, so I was pretty much on my own trying to meet everybody. So her cousin was nice enough to like introduce me to everyone. And as she's introducing me, she's like bringing me towards this group of like big masculine men like in suits, like drinking whiskey, like looking super official or whatever they were drinking. And my heart was like pounding, like, oh my God, there was this closed circle, and I just thought that they're gonna hate me, they're not gonna accept me. And her cousin goes, hey everyone, this is Laura's boyfriend. And I'm like, okay, great, just shoot me now. And so like surprisingly, everybody was like super nice and receptive. Laura had given me like all these warnings ahead of time, but I feel like your family got along with me pretty well.
It was literally so crazy. Like, we were all taking bridal pictures, like all of the bridal party, the maid of honor, the bridesmaids. And so I was busy with my sister taking pictures, and everyone else was at cocktail hour. And so once we got done taking pictures, I walk in and I see Dar at the bar with my mom and my dad and my grandma, and I'm like, what is going on? They're all laughing, and then I walk up and my grandma's like, look at this picture that me and Dar just took. And I was like, oh my gosh, how did this happen? Because my dad is normally so reserved. Like, it takes a while for him to open up. He's very, very nice, but he's also very just like reserved and quiet. So he actually, I don't even know how Dar cracked him, but
I'm irresistible. What can I say? The next question is, I just got one question. Do you guys plan on having babies? That's literally every single question that we get every single day.
We get this question.
So Laura and I have actually got a big announcement. That's why we did this video. We're actually having
a food baby.
I'm having a food baby. I need to be. I'm just kidding.
So babies are definitely in the future, we hope. We both want to have a big family of 3 to 4 kids, and we really never talked about it publicly because we just were never ready or never at that stage. But this year we feel ready.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll leave it at that.
Would you ever adopt or have a surrogate?
Okay, first of all, that's not on here. Like,
Okay.
That's
All right,
way
we're gonna
too
skip.
personal. Okay. Question number 6. When is Dhar going to propose? Y'all have me dying every trip. We are waiting for it. No, absolutely not.
I know every trip that we take is pretty over the top, so
Yeah.
everyone always thinks that that's a trip. But I would say that Laura and I have both been in relationships that we felt like we kind of rushed through things, or for Laura, I think was like at an earlier time of her life, and for me, things like went super fast.
Yeah.
And so we both decided just to take our time with this relationship and really build things the right way. In the beginning, there's obviously like this whole honeymoon stage, and is you want to sort of rush through things, but I think it's important to be with each other through your ups and downs and really get to know each other. We've experienced like so many highs and lows together.
So many
She met me when I was literally broke and had nothing, and then was with me like, through trying to build up a company and like trying to reestablish myself. So I just feel like our relationship now is so much stronger because we decided to take our time, and now we're at that point of moving to the next chapter of our relationship. So lots of more videos coming your way pretty soon, to say the least.
That doesn't answer the question.
So do we plan? Yes. Is it going to happen soon? I can't give out all the deets, but
We'll see.
we've got some things. I got some things up my sleeve.
Really? Question number 7.
Okay.
I really love you guys. Any plans for marriage? And if so, will you have an Indian wedding?
Ooh.
Dang, girl,
Okay.
all up
I'm
in
gonna
our
let
business.
Laura answer this question.
So how do we want to answer this question? So Dhar is definitely my life partner.
Woo! Yes, I was seriously been wondering this the whole time, so I'm
No,
glad we got that
literally,
out the way.
We both feel like we are each other's life partner, and that
True.
we are going to be together forever.
I'm pretty lucky.
But as far as having a wedding, as of right now, we really don't want to have a wedding. That may change later on, but as of right now, things are so good right now. We're so happy the way that our relationship is. We know we're going to be with each other forever. So it may happen down the road. We don't know.
But either way, we'd have a huge engagement party that's going to be really amazing.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we've talked about flying out to India. A lot of my dad's family's in India, and it would mean the world to his family. And also, Laura has not yet been to India, and I really want her to experience that.
Yeah.
So she knows like sort of where I come from. So yeah, I think we would do something in India.
Okay.
Yep.
Next question. Who said I love you first? Dhar.
Or did I say that first?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, pretty much right from the moment I met her, like I knew
like,
that
"I love
day.
you."
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
we
like, can I
didn't
get
say
you
it the
anything to
first day,
drink? I love you. I was kidding.
Okay, next question.
Okay, so is it hard having a business together? Ooh, that's a good one.
Go ahead.
Yeah, definitely. It's hard having a business together. So, it's definitely got its challenges, but overall, I would say like the pros far outweigh the cons. The hard part is like being able to separate work from your relationship. So sometimes when there's like stress at work, it naturally flows, into the bedroom. And sometimes it feels like you can't really escape it. But overall, how I like to describe it is like, imagine you've been working so hard. Imagine you're on a sports team and you make it to like the finals and you win a championship and your partner happens to be on the team with you. Like that feeling, it's a whole different level. So when things are good, and thank God things have been like relatively good for the most part, it's just so much more exciting that we get to celebrate that together. We get to have like a lot of cool experiences. We've been able to meet like lots of amazing friends. Like we're always like, I don't know, we love what we do. So I think that makes it like so much more interesting. So in my eyes, I absolutely love it. And I'm just grateful to have somebody that offsets like my weaknesses and is so much more talented than me at so many different things. I'm constantly amazed as to what this girl can do, and the fact that we're building it like together and it's ours and we have this amazing team like feels so much better.
it took us a while to get used to it in the beginning because we were kind of like, Dar and I are opposite. Like we have a lot of similarities, but ultimately we think very differently. And that took some time to get used to. But since we've been at it for a few years now, we pretty much know like where Dar excels, where I excel, and we kind of just give each other freedom to let each other excel in those areas. And so I think it works because we do balance each other. And like Dar said, when there's a win, like we get to celebrate it together. But the hardest part is separating work from home because sometimes stress, happens at work, and then when you come home, it's so hard to not be stressed at home. But I feel like we're getting to a good place where now I know, like, okay, Dar's having a tough day, then I need to not be having a tough day, or vice versa. Like if Dar sees I'm having a hard day, then he be the strong one. So I feel like we're a good balance for each other.
And my plan is to retire soon too and just let Laura run everything. So it's working out great for me.
Okay.
All right, next question. Do you have butt implants? Laura, all right, let me check. I don't know. Let me
stand up and show them.
Let me feel. I'll tell you right now.
So no, I do not have butt implants, you guys.
Well, you got a nice butt.
Why would you guys ask that? My gosh. Okay, next question. Dar, can you please show us some of your Bhangra? Is that how you say it? Bhangra dance moves. I love when Laura snaps them.
Are you serious right now? I need some music. All right.
No, put a song on, and I think you really should show them your moves.
Okay, we'll just do some sitting down.
Why are you laughing?
I don't know. That was hilarious.
We're going to cue the music. Okay. Do some more moves.
That was good enough.
Okay.
All right. So how long have you been vegetarian, and do you think you could ever eat meat again?
So most of you guys think that I made Dar become a vegetarian, but it's actually the opposite. Well, he didn't make me, but Dar was vegetarian first. And then Dar was vegetarian and I didn't drink. And then we both decided to try being a vegetarian, and he decided to give up drinking. So for a year and a half, neither one of us ate meat or drank. We were boring.
And now all of our vlogs are drinking vlogs.
But no, Dar just one day was just like, tell them your story.
Yeah, I just woke up one day and I was like, I'm not going to eat meat anymore. I don't really know why. People asked if it was like a religious thing or a dietary thing. I think it was more of a self-disciplinary thing, just to see if I could actually do it or not. But it's one of those things where once you start, it becomes increasingly harder to go back to eating meat. And I always was like, I would never want to be one of those people that's like, oh, I'm vegetarian, you shouldn't eat meat, or that's gross. But man, it's so hard. Once you become vegetarian for a long time, you become like so sensitive towards animals that just thinking of it now is heartbreaking. So we try not to push our values onto others.
But every video we're like, we're vegetarian.
All I'm saying is there's a lot of great meat alternatives out there. It's an easier time than ever to be vegetarian. So if you're considering doing it, it's easier than ever. So we highly encourage you. All right, put a link below. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, next question. What's your favorite thing about each other?
My favorite thing about Laura is like she reminds me to be in the moment. I'm a guy who's like always just thinking about 10 different things. I'm always living in the future as to like, all right, what's next? Like, here's what's happening. And we'll literally be walking like down the street in San Francisco or something, and Laura will be like, oh my God, look at those pretty flowers. And I'll be like, whoa, I had no idea that there was even flowers there. Like she notices every detail. She makes like every moment fun. She's just like bubbly and so in tune with what's happening right now. So she reminds me to like stop and enjoy life because it's happening right in front of us.
Aww, that deserves a hug. And my favorite thing about Dar, there are many, but he has pushed me so far to just literally like pursue what I love, and not because sometimes I let fear get in the way because I'm like, this person's gonna judge me, or maybe I'm not good enough, and he's just like, no, you are good enough, do this, like whatever I want to do, he helps me in every way that he could. If I wanted to become a chef, he would help me to become a chef. No matter what I want to do, he just always motivates and pushes me to achieve that goal. And I love that he's so in tune with family and God, and he has the most sweetest and kindest heart. Like literally, he's so in tune with every emotion, and he's like so good if I'm having a bad day, like getting to the root of like, why are you having a bad day? Let's fix this. How can we make this better?
It's usually just feeding her. That's usually what it is.
And he's just very, very giving. Like he's so selfless. I don't know if selfless is the right word. Okay, yeah. So like when, we feed the homeless all the time, but even with friends and family, if ever they need something, if ever they come out with a launch, he's the first one to support them. He's the first one to lend a helping hand. Like I really love that about him.
Hey.
He has such a giving and sweet heart.
Thanks, baby. What else? That was supposed to be one thing, but hey. All right, so you guys are the cutest, especially Dhar. I was kidding.
Who says I'm not them?
I can see how much love you guys have for each other, but by the way you look at each other, but do you ever argue?
Okay, you butchered that.
I know.
You
Try
guys
this again.
are the cutest. I can see how much love you gave. Okay,
all right.
One more, third time's a charm. You guys are the cutest. I can see how much love you guys have for each other by the way you guys look at each other. Cue, sexy music. But do you guys ever argue?
Yeah, where she tried to correct me, like right now.
Of course we do. Every single couple argues. And I feel like in the beginning, our arguments, because we didn't really know each other, we just didn't, and still to this day I have a hard time, but we didn't really know how to communicate with each other. But normally when we do argue, we do try to fix it as fast as possible. Dhar is very good at that. He doesn't like things to linger, and if something's bothering either one of us, he's just like, let's sit down, let's talk, let's fix this. Me, I get quiet, and then I'm just like a little moody, and he's just like, what's wrong? And I'm like, nothing. I don't communicate things the best. Like I'll get super, super quiet, or I'll just like explode. There's no middle ground. I'm just like from one end to the other, but we never let our arguments linger. Well, we try not to.
Yeah.
At least.
I think one of the big game changers for us is when we just came to the realization that we're always going to be together.
Yeah.
And I think once you come to that realization, then it's like, what's the point of arguing when you know you're going to work it out at a certain why waste that time? It's only robbing your joy in that moment. And so I think the two most important parts is never feeling like you're never letting your ego get in the way of being able to apologize. And then also always being able to discuss your arguments afterwards so you can always learn from them. And so as uncomfortable as it is, we'll talk about, like, after, when you're arguing, you can't talk about it in that moment, but when you reconcile, just be like, okay, what went wrong? What did I do to cause this? And here's what I could have done better. We're always looking at, okay, I could have done this better, as opposed to saying, you did this, you did that, because that's the best way to learn. And as soon as someone starts to say, oh, you know what, I could have done this better, it naturally makes the other person go like, no, you know what, I could have done this better. But if I'm just like, you could have done this better, that makes the other person want to go, no, you could have done this better. So I think always trying to be like self-aware, communicating, apologizing quickly, don't let your ego get in the way, and then being able to have those tough conversations so you actually come to good understandings to prevent those problems from happening again.
Yeah, that was perfectly said. It's all about being a good listener and ultimately remembering you guys are on the same team. So Dhar and I have like phrases for everything. Like, when I'm saying like, you did this, and he's like, no, you did this, we call that like one-upping each other. And so we're like, okay, you're one-upping. So we know like, oh shoot, like this is not the route that we want to go. Like, we're on the same team. Let's be a good listener. Let's try to figure out what the other person is feeling versus just acknowledging our own feelings, because sometimes we're thinking things completely different, and you won't understand each other unless you give the other person a chance to talk. And sometimes it is hard to hear like their point of view, and especially if it's something that you could be doing better. But ultimately, like, if you are a good listener, these things will just help you in your relationship and personally.
Okay, Laura, you are so beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
I just said that. That wasn't on here. I love the food. I love that you love food and are always.
Sorry, guys.
I love that you love food and are always eating.
Laura, you are so beautiful. I love that you love food and are always eating. Please tell us your workout routine. Well, I wake up every morning at 5 a.m. I go to the gym for 3 hours. I don't eat meat. I don't eat dairy. I'm gluten-free. Just kidding. I don't do any of that. I don't know. My biggest struggle is working out for whatever reason. Like, Dar's so good at it, and I'm just not. Like, I've tried. I'll go hiking. We'll go hiking, and I'll do it mostly because like I see Dar doing it, and it like motivates me to do it. But on my own, I'm just like, oh, do I really want to like go on the treadmill? Do I really want to be sore? Like, I don't know why. I just don't like working out. But for me, it's about what I eat. And I know I show you guys a lot of food snaps, and it seems like I eat junk all the time. But I am big on, like, if I'm on the scale, I have a desired weight. And if I'm within 5 pounds of that desired weight, I'm good. But anything over, then I become this drill sergeant on myself. I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch what I eat. I'm not going to eat any junk food. And I'm very much able to just 100% just stop eating bad. Like, I don't know what it is. Some people have a hard time when it comes to food, but if I see that scale going up, I'm like, okay, this is it. No junk food, no ice cream, none of it. And so that's kind of how I balance my weight. I know it's not like the best or healthiest thing, but it works for me.
Nice.
Next question. Dar, I'm a huge fan of yours all the way from Australia. Hey. Would love some advice on being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's a really good one. Okay, where do I start? Being an entrepreneur, so I would say it really depends on what stage you're at in your life. If you're at an earlier stage of your life, like if you're in your teens, early 20s, don't be afraid to just get a job and try different things at what you love. Don't feel like so much pressure that you've just got to jump into starting a company right away, because you might jump into something and then realize later, like, that's not necessarily something I want. And you can learn so much just by working at different established places. And so I would say dabble in different things, get to really know what you love, find your passion. And then once you find your passion, it can become really easy to build a business around what you really love.
I love hearing Dar talk. Like, I tell him every single day I learn something from him. He's just like so smart, and he's so knowledgeable about so many things, from like business to like book smart to street smart to like everything in between. So every time I hear him talk, I'm like, hallelujah.
Hey, keep going. All right, should we go back to name what you love about Dar? I'm loving this. Okay,
book.
What is your favorite place to travel and why?
Ooh, that is a tough one. So as you guys know, we love to travel. How many countries have we been to?
A lot. Probably like over 20.
Okay, so my favorite place, I would say, it's so hard because every place is like a different experience, but I would say I really, really love the Maldives. It was just so like beautiful and serene, and we were riding bikes like to get around, and I don't know, I really had a great time there.
Yeah,
what about
for sure.
you?
Yeah, that is a tough one. I would say Greece. We're actually going this August. Greece is like the best of both worlds, where you've got the beach and the paradise feeling,
so
but also like the party and just people are so happy in Greece. You get there, you like rent these RVs and you're like driving around. People like are so friendly. You're day drinking. The restaurants are so romantic. The sunsets are some of the most beautiful that you'll ever see in the world. Yeah,
Dang,
I would say
you make
Greece.
me want to change
I know.
my mind. Bali's actually really cool too. Bali's up there on my list.
And you could ball in Bali because it's not that expensive. What is yours and Dar's biggest pet peeve?
Ooh, mine is definitely when it comes to table manners. I don't know why. I feel like I was born with this disease, but I have a really hard time when people do not have good table manners, especially when people talk with food in their mouth. Like, there's something inside of me that just gets so like, oh my gosh, I cannot sit here. I get so antsy. Like, I cannot even look at them. Like I get so uncomfortable. So if you guys ever see me at a restaurant, please make sure your food is chewed before you talk.
Yeah, and then I would say for me, I'm become pretty OCD, so hygiene's like a big thing for me.
Yeah.
I literally wash my hands like 50 times a day. Like it's pretty
today.
crazy. Oh, I can tell Laura's not always the best at washing her hands. I give her a hard time.
You guys, no. It's not that I'm not the best at washing my hands, but this guy has to wash his hands like twice an hour.
Yeah.
Like,
if I meet people, like I'm like about to have dinner and then I see someone I know and they're like shaking my hand and it's like in slow motion. I'm like, hey, like it's like destroying me on the inside. But I'll just remember that, okay, I shook a hand, I grabbed a doorknob, like I've got to wash my hands before I touch food or anything like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You keep grabbing it. Boy, hold on. Right here. How do you guys deal with negativity? I feel like this is a good one for you to answer. Preach on it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've dealt with a lot of negativity in my life. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, just put it that way. And so I learned how to deal with negativity at an early stage. And, you know, when it comes to negativity, it really does say more about the other person than it does yourself. So it's important to remember that. It's sad how our brains are programmed where literally there could be like 100 comments and 99 of them are positive and one is negative. And then you just focus on that negative comment and that's the only thing that you can think about. For me personally, like I'm actually quite open-minded where I actually seek out negativity because I feel like it's opportunities to learn. It depends what it is. If it's something that I feel like, all right, you know what, this actually has some truth to it, then I try to learn from it. But if it's just something that's coming from like a hateful place, honestly, it bothers me zero. I think it bothers Laura a little bit more.
Yeah, I feel like when it comes to like constructive negativity, Dar's all about it. Like he's one of the, he can take negativity so well. Like if someone's like, oh, you know what, you were this way today, or you could be doing this better. He's like, oh my gosh, thank you for telling me. Like, yeah, I could be doing. I'm like, oh, what the heck?
In my mind, I'm thinking, dick.
But what gets me is anytime anyone comes at someone, you know, when it has to do with their physical appearance, because I don't think anyone should ever comment on anyone's physical appearance. Like everyone is beautiful in their own way. So that's what gets to me. And like Dar said, like there can be 100 positive messages, and then I get that one message that's like, oh, your hair is ugly, or you have a big forehead, or whatever the case may be, and then it just sits with me, and I get so sad. And I think that's a big reason why I have never been like so public. I've always been so behind the scenes, and I think because I've been afraid of like what people would say. But I have gotten thicker skin. I'm still very emotional, and so I do have days where some comments just really get to me, but for the most part, I feel like I'm getting stronger.
I agree. I'm so proud of you. Even just starting a YouTube channel was somewhat of a challenge for Laura just because of negativity, but I mean, it's been so positive. Thank you guys, seriously, for all the amazing support. You guys have been incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, next question.
Are either of you jealous with each other?
Woo! I don't feel jealous because Laura does such an amazing job just making me feel like so comfortable and so confident. Like I just know like her attention's always towards me and she's always in tune with me. So I think she just makes it easy to never be jealous, and I probably take that for granted. Even though this girl gets so many looks, like you guys have seen, if you've watched any of our vlogs, we're literally walking through restaurants and people are just like staring at this girl.
Stop.
And so to me, I get a kick out of it. I love just recording it because I stare at her the same way, to be honest. I'm just like mesmerized by her. But no, she does an amazing job not making me feel like I've got anything to be jealous about.
Yeah, and Dar does the same with me. Anytime we go out, like his focus is on me and he makes me feel so special, like I'm the only girl in the room. I think I'm very playful, so throughout our videos, you guys will see I'll make comments like, boy or girl, you better not comment this. Because girls are sneaky. I will say this, like Dar comes back to Instagram and all of a sudden these girls are like, you're so handsome, hard eyes, hard eyes. I'm like, absolutely not. I do not play that. My man is very handsome. thank you, but that's as far as it should go. Okay.
Okay, awesome. Next question.
Turned off.
All right.
Ooh, you
Laura
did my
gets
password wrong.
Laura
I
gets like
changed it.
1,000 text messages. Okay, so what is your favorite physical feature about each other?
That ass.
What?
I will say Dar's smile, his beard, and it's so funny because like that's one of his insecurities. Like his beard is one of his insecurities.
Can't be doing down them this.
But just like his smile, his lips, like he has such big lips, his beard, like I just think it's so sexy.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
And for Laura, is it a physical feature? Okay, physical feature. God, like,
There's none.
in my eyes, like Laura is literally the most beautiful girl in the world. Every time we go anywhere, I'm just like, Laura, you're the hottest girl here, hands down. And she's like, no, I'm not. And I'm like, yes, you're the hottest girl here.
I'm not. We go.
So
we live in LA. There's
it's
beautiful women
everywhere we go.
all
She's the
around.
hottest girl there. And so I think it's just her overall appearance.
That's really sweet.
Okay.
So we're gonna do a lightning round. We're just gonna answer 5 questions. So we're not gonna sit here and elaborate. We're just gonna say Dar or Laura.
Let's
Ready?
go.
Who is the better dresser? Dar now. Because I'm his stylist.
Yeah, Laura's my stylist.
Wait,
I
we're
was
not
gonna
supposed to
okay.
elaborate.
All right.
Next, go.
Who's the better kisser?
Me. Who's more organized? Dar.
Me, for sure.
Who's
a
the
better
better
dancer?
dancer?
Laura.
I'd say me.
Who's more bougie?
Dar.
Dar. Wait, Laura.
No,
Okay,
you are.
fine. All right,
100%
fine. Me. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video.
It's
We
fine.
really wanted you guys to get to know us on a little bit more of a personal level. Now you know when I say I'm the luckiest guy in the world, you know where I'm coming from. So thank you. Please, please make sure to subscribe, turn those notifications on.
please.
And we're gonna start doing giveaways starting next video. We
Yeah.
haven't decided what we're gonna give
We're
away
still
yet.
figuring it out, but starting next week, every single video we post, we are going to be doing a giveaway. It could be products, it could be money. We're figuring out the details, so stay tuned for our next video because you guys might just be that lucky winner.
Peace.
Bye.